It's crunch time for Seattle-based photo giant Getty Images, and for photographers. With its vast archive of more than 350 million images, a stable of award-winning photojournalists, and annual revenues of nearly $1 billion, Seattle-based Getty Images may be the most dominant player in the picture business. It is also, arguably, the most controversial. Getty has been criticized for selling the rights to photos that are freely available in the public domain. It was infamous for an aggressive copyright strategy that until recently included cease and desist orders and debt collections against anyone, even churches and small organizations, that used its images without permission. And, critics say, Getty can be tough on the people who make those images in the first place. Just over half of Getty's revenues, according to industry estimates, come from distributing stock photos, images of generic subjects, such as house or orange juice or corporate executive, that a commercial client might use in brochures, websites or advertisements. The stock photo business is highly competitive, with Getty and its rivals, such as Adobe and Shutterstock, steadily cutting prices to keep market share. Last month, for example, Getty announced plans to move entirely to a royalty-free pricing model that would make stock images even cheaper for clients. But if lower prices have benefited Getty's customers, they've also meant less money for stock photographers, who have seen their earnings steadily fall, in some cases to as low as a few pennies per image. Craig Peters, the new CEO of Getty Images, is unrepentant. He says Getty's pricing simply acknowledges that the stock business is no longer dominated, as it was 20 years ago, by a small group of photographers supplying a small number of customers at relatively high price points. To the contrary, as megapixel smartphone cameras and inexpensive broadband have saturated the market with ever better, ever cheaper images, Peters says, older business models have fallen aside, as have players who depend on them. He points to Corbis Images, Getty's one-time crosstown rival, which Getty acquired parts of in 2016 and which, Peters notes, was tenaciously sticking to an outdated pricing model right up until the end. Others are less matter-of-fact about the industry's changes. It's race to the bottom, says Francis Zera, a Seattle-area commercial and architectural photographer who sells stock images through Getty and other agencies. He actually shot Getty's Seattle offices, in the Chinatown International District, for the company in 2013. Getty's new pricing strategy, Zera says, simply encourages customers to expect stock photography for next to nothing. It's the old joke, why buy the cow when the milk is free? Jim Pickerel, a veteran stock photographer and industry critic, agrees. Getty's latest move, he says. For more on this story, visit the news article link.